Hi, it's Jane. We're here for another wall binding session. Wall binding? Wall winding session. Well, let me get this untangled and I'll get started with the white in the center. Get it on there. It's Jane. These are some of those that I've been setting aside from the totes we've looked at. I have probably another 4 or 5 totes to go through. One of them I think is a repeat. I believe we've already looked at. In fact, we may have already looked at all 3 of the other ones, but you know, if not, you'll get to see them again. And then I'll put my mark on them to let me know that they are done. And you've already seen some of the other totes that are left in the other bedroom. I haven't moved those into the garage yet, and I need to. But I've gone through those totes with you. So you've seen all those. And now I'm just adding in these odds and ends that I had. Little small balls. I had a bag full of small balls here. So I'm just going to get those together so that they are wound up and gone. Folks, I need to answer this. Okie dokie, sorry about that. I'm back. Now I'm adding in one of those. This is what I call a brassy red. It's probably a hot red. Follow it up by a regular red. What I call a true red, which is almost like the cherry red that Red Heart does. A lot of people like the hot rod red, or, you know, consider that a red, but I consider that more of like this hot red. I consider some of the other reds that they have kind of brassy, orangish toned, and those are fine. But I don't consider that to be a true red, so I don't really like that color. I've used it before. It kind of hurts my eyes. That's why I call it a hot rod red. It's not really a true red. And now we're going to add in a little orange. If I can get the middle out. In that bag with the small balls, I found another one of the, these are bamboo Tunisian hooks with a rubber cord and a bead on the end. They're okay, but I find that the rubber cord actually slows it down. You know, it's kind of like tubing, like oxygen tubing. So I don't like the way that it works, but I use it in a pinch if all my other hooks are busy. And I do use the magic knot when I'm tying this. I had a laugh because the cats have not really been in the garage per se. This afternoon when I went in there to get the rest of the totes to go through, which I'll go through those tomorrow, Izzy went looking around in the garage, and I tried to get her, calling her to come out, and she wouldn't come out. So I finally had to get in the car and honk the horn. Of course, that sent her scurrying. And she finally came out. And there, we've got one cake that's ready to go in a tote. And that will probably go into, I do have that one tote that's not completely filled. So I will be putting it in there. Oh. These are some pretty greens that I had left over from some project I did, so who knows what the project was. I have a feeling that this was a shawl that I had made for prayer shawl with some Karen Simply Soft. And yes, I don't mind mixing, when I'm making these cakes, I don't mind mixing the Simply Soft with the Red Hearts or whatever yarn I've got available, because it, in a way, it really doesn't matter if you're using it for some of those scrap blankets where you hold two yarns together. I mean, it's not really going to make that big a difference. Now, if you're using it with just one type of yarn, you know, one, then I would consider not putting those together, but I know what I'll be using my scrap cakes for. And those are the kind of things, projects you do that you just use up to you end with the ball, and then you add in another color. You don't worry about it, you just go. And it's a very freeing project when you get to doing it that way, because there's no stress and no problems, and you get to see the magic happen. That's kind of what happens with it. It's what I've always called it, a little bit of magic. I think I'll put that bronze colorway in with this, with the greens. I don't know if I have enough room after I get through with this bronze to add in another color. But I might try. Might be worth a shot. And if you are seeing repeats on these totes, I do apologize. But I didn't come up with the system to mark them so that I knew that there was a difference. I guess in a way that was my bad, because I just really wasn't paying attention. You know, so what are you gonna do? Yeah, kind of have to move on and not worry about it so much. Oh, I can add another color. In fact, I'm going to add a white. Finish this off with a white. So, have you been looking at your yarn stash and seeing what you have, what you don't have? I think in a way it's a pretty good idea to go through your yarn stash to see what you have. And I also think it's a good idea to basically shop from your yarn stash so that you aren't doing like I did, gathering a ton of different yarns when you already had it. I mean, you know, we're not in a contest to see who can dye with the most yarn, but I'm pretty sure it might be me. Although Nancy's got quite a few. I think she's got 2 or 3 rooms, so she might have us all beat. Her or Juan. I think Juan has a pretty big house full of yarn too. So I guess we just can't say no when it comes to yarn, right? I know I have a problem saying no. Although lately I've been actively trying not to add to my yarn stash. Mainly because I'm running out of room. And I'm going to stick the rust in the center of this, even though I know it's not completely rust. It's got a mix of some greens and a rust. Now then, let's see. Let's do the light raspberry. Let me find all of it together. And the tag, so I can make sure that it's all together. Well, what'd I do with the hair tie? Left it in the center of the yarn cake. I gotta tell you, sometimes I do things like that and I'm like, what am I thinking? What was I thinking? Why did I think that that was a good idea? Who knows? You know, that kind of thing. So, I have been watching quite a few other channels. I am enjoying watching the other channels, getting to see some of the things that they are doing, putting out there, and that's always very nice to see. Don't know what I did with the oh boy, I'm losing my mind. There it is. With the actual band that goes around it. It's right in front of my face. Isn't that about normal? Can't keep track of nothing these days. I think some of that has to do with too much on my mind. Too much stuff going on. The bamboo is dying off slowly. I have been using a weed grass killer, and that's been working effectively. I'm hoping that it'll keep the roots from shooting up again. The last one that I used did not work, and it was actually supposed to clean the it was supposed to kill the barnyard grass as well as weeds. Did nothing for either one of them. In fact, I think it made them grow much happier. And the only thing that I find annoying is they tell you not to put on this spray. They want you to do it in at least 80 degrees. Well, we've got a little bit of a cool front here because of hurricane, is it Ernesto that came through when I'm filming this? I think it's Ernesto. By the time you see this, it may be another hurricane on its way. But I am filming a lot of these ahead of time so that I can just get them out of the way and be done with it and move on to some other things I need to do to get ready for the move. And no, I don't have a place yet. I am looking, still haven't found anything yet. One of the things that I want is I want it to be like this place where it is just one floor, that there's not a basement, there's not second floor. I don't want stairs. I'm sick of stairs, so I don't want any of that nonsense, and that has been a little bit of a hassle because in Pennsylvania they consider ranches to be ranches even when they have basements. Those are not ranches where I came from. A ranch has no basement. It's either put on a slab, or if it does have a little crawl space underneath, that's minimal. I mean, and that is a crawl space. You gotta be little and thin to get through it. So, yeah, sometimes I wonder how people come up with different ideas for what a ranch house is. But that's what I'm looking for. I have a friend that, like I said, has suggested a trailer. She let me see her trailer, and it's a nice trailer. It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Not too bad. So I am considering that. But then again, you know, if you order a new one, that's a pretty penny as well. I've also thought about modular home. So I don't know. Still doing a lot of looking. The house that I liked up on the hill here, it's not near me, it's across town. It has a lot of issues that need to be worked out. You know, it's one of those as-is houses. There's a lot of work to be done to it. And quite honestly, for the price, I don't know if I want to do that much work put that much work into it. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of work, you know, for maintenance sake, that kind of thing. But this has a lot of work that has to be done to it. Maybe I should have just left these as skeins. And earlier, Ronan got in my way and I kind of tripped over him, fell. Luckily, I was able to get up. That has always been my biggest worry, is not being able to get up. Didn't hurt anything except my pride. You know, sometimes pride is pretty hurtful. So, Like I said, didn't hurt anything but my pride. Had picked myself up off the floor. Was able to manage, so there's that. Didn't have to call for a fireman to come help me get up. That would have been really embarrassing. Woo, excuse me. I think this one I'm going to leave as it is, as a skein. There are a couple of balls here, and I'm going to leave that partial skein. But I have 2 balls here that I am going to wind up into one cake of the amethyst. I had called the FedEx about the issue with it being delivered to the wrong place. And I got to tell you, one of the things that ticks me off is everyone has gone to these automated services. And I'm sorry, they do not solve the problem that you have. And there's no way for you to solve it in itself. So I opened up a case, let them figure it out where it went. Then they ask you to do a survey. I did the survey. And of course, in the survey, they ask you, was your problem addressed and taken care of? No, it wasn't. It's trying to tell you where it was actually delivered, so you could at least talk to the driver, let him know that that's not appropriate to leave it at some other address. So now they're out looking for it, supposedly. We all know that they don't bother. But of course, nobody's gotten back to me about that survey. Did leave my number and everything. So, did ask for someone to come talk to me about it. You think it'll be the 12th of November when they finally call? I do. And there we have the red heart amethyst all wound up and ready to go into the tote. Like I said, I have that one tote, and it's actually sitting underneath where I have the basket of the yarn. It is not been filled or anything like that, so see, I think I'm going to use this white. And mix that with one of the purples. I do have another shade of purple, and I don't know what brand of yarn that is. I don't have a tag with it at all. I'm sure a lot of these were before I ever thought that tags were important. You know, the yarn labels were important to keep with it because the way that I do things. The way that I make scraps and such, so, you know, figured it wasn't going to make a bit of difference. Just move on. Get a little crazy. And this is an off-white. It's not really a white. It's kind of a cream color, whatever this is. Don't see a brand tag here either. But I will tell you, it does feel like it's, I love this yarn. Either that or it's a big twist. Big Twist has come out with quite a few varieties of yarn, and that's nice to see. Trying to move these around so I can get to some other stuff. Oh, hang on, folks. Had to move it out of the way so I could get to it. My tote is starting to overflow, my little basket with cakes of yarn. So trying to find a place to put those all. I did notice, I don't know if you guys have been to Hobby Lobby lately. I am frustrated because it seems like they are getting rid of a lot of yarn. They're now down to maybe 2.5 aisles of yarn in my store. And then they've got all these home goods like sheet sets, pillowcases. I don't go to Hobby Lobby for that kind of stuff. So I'm a little upset with that. That is not something that I like. And they're becoming less and less a craft store. So I think they need to change their name from Hobby Lobby to Home Dec Lobby. Something like that. I mean, granted, they have a lot of good sales on the decorations, those kind of things. But, you know, that's what AC Moore did in the very end. Moved into home goods when they really shouldn't have been doing home goods because they were a craft store. They really should have been projecting more on their crafts. And quite frankly, the way that they did their online shopping is what killed them. If they had followed through with a good service for online, they probably would still be around. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what keeps Michael's in business, because they're able to do an online store. Hobby Lobby does have some things you can purchase online, but I don't think you can purchase a lot of things like the home decorations, that kind of stuff. I mean, some things you can get. I don't see a lot where you can get some of the certain other things that you really have to go into the store to see, you know, to purchase. And this is that Big Twist light gray, I think. Well, it is Big Twist. I don't know if the name is light gray. I think it is. And to the end of that, I'm going to add this one, which I'm pretty sure is a red heart. Has tans, blues, whites. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a red heart. For some reason, that earth and sky or something like that is what comes to my mind. Do I know that's the absolute name? Nope. I do not. I'm not well versed in that. I just see a yarn and say, ooh, pretty, I want it, and add it to the collection. So I'm going to add this in, and then I have another 2 things of pink that I need to put together with probably an off color peach. And I'm not sure if the peach is cotton or not, so I need to actually look at it and feel it to see if it is. Don't know that number. So guess what? I'm not going to answer it. I don't answer numbers that I don't know or that they don't give me that information. I figure you can leave a message and I'll get back to you. Let's see what we have left in here. I have a mixed green. I have this pink that I'm actually going to put in the center. And then I have a small ball of white. I may add that to a different cake. I think maybe 2 more cakes. And then I'll be done with this winding session. What are you guys drinking today? Today I'm having maple pecan coffee. It's by Green Mountain. It does have caffeine in it. So I'm going to be racing for a while today. Which means I won't get to sleep anytime soon. Which might have been a mistake, since I have to be up at 6 a.m. to take the trash out. But we'll see. I can always take a nap, right? That's a good thing about being retired. You can always take a nap. This pink is called Baby Pink. And I think I have enough to make what will be a full cake, which will be the equivalent of probably a 7-ounce skein of yarn. Maybe a little bit bigger. I'm not sure what size this original skein was in the baby pink. I'll have to look in a few minutes because I've got to take the label off to get it ready to wind. And it is a red heart. Oh my goodness, tangle, tangle, tangle mess. I had something rather interesting happen on Facebook. You know, I have a Facebook page for Jane Wynn Designs business page. And I had someone contact me through Messenger saying they had a friend who was interested in some of the bags that I make. I said, okay, they can purchase them on the shop. Wanted to know if I did any discounts, and I said, generally just through sales, but you know, they're more than welcome to look and see what I've got available. And And they wanted to know how long I had been in business.
Unknown caller.
That kind of thing. Which I thought that was a little on the odd side. You know, you don't normally see that kind of stuff. This skein was approximately 7 ounces originally. See if I can find the end. And yes, I know I had an end there. I've already lost it. Didn't take me long to lose it. Did it? You know, but then they're like, well, I opened my store a year ago and I'm doing a tremendous amount of sales. I said, well, good for you. She has a clothing store, supposedly, although I couldn't find her anywhere. So I have no clue if it was maybe someone trying to scam or someone who generally had a friend who was interested, although they haven't purchased anything yet. So I figure it was probably someone testing the waters for a scam. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times you'll get a contact for someone who wants to pay you through PayPal, and they want your PayPal information. You know, don't send them that, because normally what happens is it's not real money, it's fake money, and it's not a real account. What they're looking for is to actually get your information for your PayPal and also to be able to log into it and take over your PayPal account. That's one scam. One of the other things that they do lots of times is they'll send you something that looks like they paid you. I told you about the one person I said had asked about me sending a bag and supposedly had paid me. There was no money and it wasn't PayPal. So, you know, I just sent the copy of the email to PayPal so that they could use their powers that be if they wanted to search out this guy, catch him in a scam. But don't ever give your PayPal information out to anyone. If you do sell, ask for their email address so that you can send them an invoice. That is probably one of the best practices to do so that you don't have to worry about those kind of issues. And seems like these days people are trying left and right to take advantage of everybody. And here's the sad thing. If we go to an all-digital currency, can you imagine how much money is going to be stolen and lost? The other week I had shared a video on my Facebook page of a fellow that he had lost $18,000 through Walmart. They charged him for his ex-wife's account, which was a total of maybe $1,000. But with the lawyer's fees and everything, they'd gone to court without ever serving him or anything, and then canceled his account and emptied out his bank account with a judgment. So, yeah, that I'm not sure is quite legal because due process was not done. And in this fellow's case, Actually, the account was his ex-wife's account. She died, and then they came after him. You know, there's a part of me that goes, how's that even happen? How can they go after him? He had nothing to do with it, with her account. So, I don't know. It seems like these days things are crazier and crazier, aren't they? I do need to put this in this one. See, I got talking, forgot what I was going to do. Have a small ball of white, and then I have those green tones. Then I add those two together for one last cake. Because I'm not sure that I'm going to wind this other one is already sort of in a cake. And I may just leave it the way it is. I thought I would add it to the pink, but the pink is a pretty big cake, so it doesn't need any more added to it. So yeah, I just think if we get into a digital age, we're going to be in trouble. Here's that green tones. We tie that on and we'll get it wound up. Then we will be done for this wind-up session. Glad you came along with me. Glad you're here to keep me company while I'm jabbering away. Jabbering away about nothing. Chit-chatting and all that crazy stuff. And I'll show you the cake that I think I'm just going to leave the way it is. Oh, this had green and teals in it. Isn't that pretty? Had a green and a pretty teal around it. So there we go. That one's ready. This one I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It's that peach color. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. And we are done for this wine session. Wine or wind? Maybe a little bit of both. But we're done for this. There's my little half pantyhose. Generally what I do is I will stick that on the bottom. There's the center. This is the bottom. Generally I will just stick it on the bottom to help keep it in its somewhat shape as I'm using it. Just like that. There you go. That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this session and this chitter chat about nothing. All right, guys, I will see you again later. Everybody have a great week. Remember, let's not let the elephants and the donkeys drive us apart any further than what they can. We already know that there's going to be an election and there's no sense in being at each other's throats. So let's be kind to one another. See you again soon. Bye.